Hello everyone. So this video here was shared a few days ago by Birds of Magyar on YouTube. It's footage of a Russian attempted counterattack east of Urozhaine, which went a bit Pete-Tong. Multiple tanks and BMPs were hit by a combination of FPV drones, drone drop grenades, mines and artillery. All in all, this was a bit of a disaster for Russia. The full video is long, over 13 minutes, and I can't waffle on for that amount of time. But the full video is linked in the description on the Birds of Magyar YouTube channel. It's worth checking out and give them a subscribe too. So what I'm going to do now is look at some photos shared of the aftermath, as these give a bit of a clearer idea of how badly this counterattack went. So first of all, an image here of a T-80BV. Somehow, it doesn't look like this is going to buff out. This was hit by a drone, and considering it's in multiple pieces, it looks like whatever hit it caused a pretty serious ammo cook-off. Here's that section zoomed out. The T-80 is in the centre. To the right, you can see an abandoned armoured vehicle, likely a BMP but I can't tell what type. To the left, another BMP. This one we have a closer image of. So it's here, by the side of the road and completely destroyed and burnt out. This image, zoomed out a bit, shows the same scene but from a different angle, confirming its location. On this image, we can see two BMPs. The one at the top of the screen looks possibly like it took a drone strike to the engine at the front. That's where the main damage seems to be, which caused the turret toss. You can see the turret on the floor nearby. You can also see the cope cage lying there too, after failing to cope. Just below it is another BMP in better condition. This one looks like it hit a mine. You can see a crater underneath its tracks on the right hand side. The door is also open at the back so the crew got out. This one also sporting a cope cage. Here's a photo zoomed out of the two BMPs, so you can see these BMPs were heading along the route shown by the arrow. I will show the geolocation and where exactly this took place later. So you can see, looking at this, it seems that two vehicles did make it past this location as the tracks go across the field. However, there is a bit more to this story, which we will come to later. To the left of the BMPs, you can also see a crater from what looks to be a recent artillery strike. Now this image, here's the second tank photograph. A T-72BV. The turret is hanging off and chunks of its armour are spread around. This one is clearly destroyed and out of action. You can also see a wheel nearby which remains standing upright. Now, in these photos altogether, we've seen two confirmed tanks destroyed. Birds of Magyar reported 4 tanks in total were destroyed during this failed Russian attack, but so far we haven't had photos of those ones yet, so we can't look at their positions. Now, speaking of positions, let's see where exactly this Russian attack went tits up. So I'm going to look at each location individually, and then I will show a zoomed out map showing all of the locations all together. So first of all, we're going to look at the location of this cluster of Soviet scrap, where the T-80BV is. Here's the geolocation. This was done by a Twitter account called Dan, who did an excellent job with it. So the T-80 you can see was heading south when it was hit by the drone. The BMP was heading north. The abandoned BMP was too far out so I couldn't really tell which way it was heading. But the T-80 was actually heading away from Urozhaine, so this was likely hit during the retreat. The BMP heading towards Urozhaine, so hit during the actual attack on the town. So of these, the BMP was hit first. Next up, these BMPs here. The one destroyed and the one abandoned, possibly after hitting a mine. These were heading southeast when they were hit and abandoned. Now, originally, I did speculate that these were in the middle of the assault force and following tracks leading in that direction, left by the vehicles in front. Now, I have to wonder if those tracks were actually caused by these two same BMPs, and these were following the same route out of there, driving in the tracks during the retreat because the tracks, of course, would be safe from mines. The BMP that hit a mine possibly drove out of the tracks a little bit and of course clipped a mine, which destroyed it. This is going away from Urozhaine again, so again, these BMPs were hit retreating after the failed assault. Finally, we're going to have a look at the location of the T-72 seen here. This one was geolocated to be here. The tank was facing or heading west when it was hit. this is the direction towards Urozhaine. So here's the location overall. The T-72 at the top, the 2 BMPs in the middle, further south the T-80 with 2 BMPs. So 4 BMPs and 2 tanks, a T-72 and a T-80, confirmed as destroyed here. So the assault on Urozhaine looks like it was taking place like thus. At least 2 BMPs attacking from the east, heading west over the fields like so. 2 BMPs attacking from the south to loop around and also hit Urozhaine from the east. A T-80 to the south and a T-72 to the east of Urozhaine, providing fire support. Now remember, the 2 BMPs were hit during the retreat, as was the T-80. Birds of Magyar report that at least an additional 2 tanks were destroyed, and also that a mine-clearing vehicle was as well. But we don't have images of those, so we can't say where exactly those ones were hit. Birds of Magyar also, as far as I can tell, haven't reported yet how many Russian vehicles took part in the attack, so whether every single one snuffed it or just a portion of the assault fleet. I would imagine there were more than this. 4 BMPs and 4 tanks isn't very much to assault a settlement. I expect this would have been a higher number of vehicles. But either way, these are pretty big losses, and clearly a pretty big failed mission here by Russia. Here's Deep State's view. Urozhaine was recently liberated during the counter-offensive, and the approximate attack routes of Russia are shown here as well. Zoomed out, here's the location of this skirmish overall, so it's on the southern front, part of the Velika Novosilka axis. Now, let's have a check of Oryx and do the numbers. We will start with a T-80. This was a T-80BV variant, and we have 407 of these on Oryx so far, visually confirmed as destroyed, abandoned, or captured. In addition, there are around 200 other T-80 variants listed, more modern ones, so a lot of T-80s likely adding their turrets to the space program here. Russia had 480 T-80s active last year, so they're certainly dragging some out of storage now. And imagine, that's well over all of the active T-80s destroyed during the special operation. That's pretty embarrassing. High losses. The T-72BV, we have 342 on Oryx, but well over 1,000 T-72s of all variants are listed so far, so huge numbers yet again. Russia had 850 T-72BVs in service last year, and 2,030 T-72 of all variants overall, so again, a really big chunk of the T-72 fleet is destroyed. Finally, the BMPs, 510 are listed on Oryx. Russia had 450 in service last year, so once more, digging deep into their reserve stockpile by now. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting. Now, before we finish, I am going to play a thank you message and a message about the ongoing fundraiser. Thanks to everybody who's donated so far, and take care everybody.
Hello to everyone, this is Engineer Volunteers Group again. In the end of this video we introduce some members of our volunteers family, please watch to the end. And first of all, in this video we wish to say thanks Mr. Sachumimos for your great help. Thank you so much, we really appreciate. Small report from previous collection, we buy 5 printers, approximately 100 kilograms of different kind of plastic, some necessary tools. And one of the printers was sent like donation from United States, some guy who watched the video. Thank you so much. We need your help again. We need to prepare our warehouse to the winter season. We need add insulation and heater system to continue our work without a break. And of course, because of we have more work at printer and order from the army, the plastic we used increased several times. Now it's approximately 160 kilos per month. It will be more. I need add some information. In time we prepare this video, Dmitry received the call. Dima, please explain. This is Dima. He is an engineer which work in this warehouse. He care about 10 printers. Please explain the call.
I got a call from our friends from Spec Ops. They lose their drones, and for good job on the front line, they need new drones with thermal sensors. So we be appreciate if you can help to collect for buying those.
Yeah, it's one more request for you. Thank you so much. All who donated, share it, this video, like it. Glory to Ukraine.
Героям слава!